van appears. The man wipes from his cheeks his tears and he smiles. Purple painted plastic plates used to serve his peace.
Jackie, what is your opinion on old people?
My opinion on old people is I am respectful to old people and I really like old people.
Sure.
Because one of these days I am going to be an old person, so.
Why did you not answer my question?
I'm not nasty to you, Lisa. When have I ever been nasty to you?
When you make us walk in that cold.
No, we're doing a film on the effects of hypothermia.
That's what you would think.
Would you like to explain the poster behind you?
Explain the poster. Hope. This is Helm's Old People's Experiences. This is a project that the Helm got money from Heritage Lottery Fund, and it is we've got two outcomes from this, to break down barriers between old people and teenagers, and to research the history of Dundee through employment.
You the berries, the tatties, Alice?
I went to tatties.
Did you?
Yeah,
Oh, the berries were a killer.
Oh, oh no, I love the berries. I didn't like
I
the
didn't like the
tatties.
berries, but I liked the tatties.
Oh, but you see, I ate as much as I put in the pail.
No, I
Oh
didn't
no.
like.
How did everyone get on with the cameras when they first got a hold of them?
Okay, I think initially it was kind of zooming at 30 miles an hour, and I think we slowly understood how to pan and build up the confidence using the cameras. I think probably a lot of the early footage was maybe binned, but as we've progressed, I think the filming's got a lot better. Yeah.
I think I zoomed in a bit too much.
What else should we say?
No idea. Okay, so girls, what do you think about old people? Polite.
Snarly sliding towards young people.
Yeah. Why do you think they're sniding towards young people?
Because they think they're better than you, well, younger people.
Is it? No mate. Okay, in one word, can you sum up what you think of old people?
Ugly.
Sam, in one word, what do you think of old people?
Well, I think they're wise until dementia
One
sets
word.
in. One-ish.
Okay, Sam, in your wise wisdom of words, what do you think of old people?
Scary.
And you choose to do one word there.
Yes.
Description, what do you think about old people?
Dead money.
Dead money.
Yeah.
What kind of experiences have you had of people being dead money?
The money you when you're in the streets and that, you know you do anything like that. Just because you're young.
Okay, so do you think because you're young that they sort of have this perception that you're just troublemakers and layabouts?
They just believe I here on the rest.
Yeah? And what kind of experiences have you had with old people?
I got shouted at from one because I tried to help her on the bus, and she was saying it's not nice to push people.
So she misinterpreted you helping her as sort of pushing her?
Basically.
Okay. What do you think your job prospects are today?
Working in Tesco's and
Yeah? Do you think it would be easy to get a job?
no.
Why?
Because like not a lot of people with their attacking on it. They need good CVs and that.
It'll be easy.
Why do you think it would be easier?
I've got good grades.
Yeah?
You don't need qualifications at all. You need qualifications to get jobs.
Yeah, excellent. What about interviews?
You need to be like confident.
Yeah. And speak out a lot
Speak
more.
louder.
Have you ever actually helped an old person?
Yeah.
Can you tell us about it?
I gave an old lady money for food. Bread.
Okay, can you expand a wee bit more on that?
She picked up an out-of-date packet of bread, and she didn't have enough money for anything else, so I put money towards it so she could get bread.
Right, and how did she react to that?
She thought it was very nice, and she says that not all young ones are idiots, basically.
Have either of you ever sort of helped an old person? So thinking about 4 or 5 weeks ago when all that snow was there?
Yeah. Carried their shopping
Yeah?
up the floor.
Okay, did you know the person or did you?
No, it's just asked us.
She asked you, or did you offer?
She asked me.
Oh, that was really good. And were you quite happy to do that?
It's kind of rude to say no.
What do you need to start?
Okay, okay, right, you good go.
What's your name?
My name is Nellie.
What's your name?
I'm Liz.
What was your first job?
My first job was in Liverpool. I come from Liverpool. First job was in Liverpool in Hamilton Car House. Then I come to Dundee and I worked in the jute mill, worked in the NCR, worked in the hat factory, and I worked in a home where old people were for 14 years.
What age did you start working at?
What age did I start? 14. So I'm an old woman. No crap.
What was your first job?
I was a weaver. I left school when I was 15 and I actually worked in here for this building's built. I was a weaver.
Well, unfortunately, the jute started to go, and let's face it, Dundee lived on jute.
Oh,
Jute jam and journalism, that was what was Dundee was all about. Now we have none of them. But I mean, the amount of people who worked in Keelers as well as the sweet factory as well as the jam making.
Why did that at night?
And marmalade was famous. Dundee marmalade was famous, you know?
Well, when I left school, I went to the weaving to learn the weaving. And then I left the weaving and I went to Valentine's.
What's Valentine's?
Valentine's used to make the lights and that, you know, bulbs. And then I went to, where was it? Over Briggs during the war to make welder jerry cans. Was it for a wee while and then I left that. And then I went to the school meals. Then from the school meals to cleaning the schools. I worked until I was 60.
So you're a jack of all trades?
But it's all you get in the paper now is experience. How can these young people get experience out of
But nobody will take them on and give them an apprenticeship. No. I mean, my middle grandson, he was desperate to be a plumber when he left the school. And he went to the tech and he got thingy for that. But nobody would take him on. He couldn't get an apprenticeship.
The biggest majority of young ones don't want to work.
because they've never worked. And a lot of mums and dads still not give them any responsibility in the house. Some of them can't boil an egg, and I mean it. In the old town of Marshall, water, oh there inside could not make me smile with that Norah Malone. Bum, bum.
And the reason we started this class was because if you just take the Courier as the history of Dundee, then they'll not get the history of Timex. There'll be a few disputes that took place, right? So we started here to try and research the history of Timex and from the day one, you know what I mean?
Right, you want to see the sun?
So most of us around this day away from the Malton Grady factory, you know what I mean, which made all the parts, all the watches worldwide, made all the tooling for the other factories worldwide, built automated machines for factories worldwide as well. Like. So Dundee was a big hub.
They've got to take these pillars out of that winding stair. That is it to stop the water going in, that thing there. See there?
How many people did Timex kind of employ in Dundee, like in its heyday?
Maximum at one time, about 7,000.
That's Berkshire's as well,
Can you tell me something interesting about Timex?
No one knew at the time.
They came to Dundee to make money, they made a lot of money out of Dundee. And although the wages were good with Dundee standards, they were cheaper than they were in America. And that's one of the reasons they came to Dundee, because it was cheaper labour available. They were a better, and they paid better money than other companies in Dundee, but they made a lot of profit on the back of that as well.
And that's one of the reasons they left Dundee as well. But Fred Olsen found the lost tribe up the Amazon. They used to go elsewhere. They could go elsewhere.
Listen, just don't be scared of things, just pick them up like that.
And they had a play on the rep, not the rep. It started this when the screen went back, there's this lassie sitting like that, you know, ready to be served and talking. But behind 6 lasses, and he was a supervisor, there was 2 supervisors watching them like hawks at the time. And that was really the style of Timex. It was the decline of the mechanical watch, right? Before it was mechanical watches, ordinary European watches that had the quartz in it, and you just put it in. So it was all mechanical, so that's how there was loads of people employed, because all the different operations to make the watch. But when the new watch came on board, then that was when the decline started.
One of the quartz watches that Timex made, it was the thinnest watch that were ever made. There's only 9 components in here, and that's the difference. That's one of the reasons that Timex went downhill, basically, because the mechanical watch had about 70 components, and then you're coming down to a watch with 9. So you didn't need near as many people to produce 9 components as you do the 70 that was in the original.
And, there was thousands of employees paid off throughout the world, and it really come down to between Dundee and the Sanson, which is a French factory. And in '83 I was the convener at Timex, and we were through Glasgow. We met with Mrs Thatcher, you know who that is, right? And we were telling her that the French government were putting millions into Timex to keep it in France. Would she do the same thing? And she refused, like, you know.
Now all the companies are in China and Korea, because all the workers there have come up to that standard, and they work for less than workers here work for. And so not just Timex, everybody left.
What do you think?
Levi's and everybody, they all just walked out, because there's cheaper workers, just as educated, just as able to be, just as skilled as you could get here, and you get it for less money. And that's how you get their work. Basically.
What do you think the answer is then?
Socialism.
You would think probably the majority of the youngsters that are here probably would have got jobs in the Timex with no problem at all.
Because I'll tell you something, see the age of that, there will be a long risk at this age careers like that.
When did the Duke first come to Dundee then, roughly?
That was around about the 1850s. It became popular. Before that it was the linen from flax was the main product, but through the 1850s into the 1860s it was the big jute boom.
And why did it come to Dundee?
Oh, there are lots of very complicated reasons for that. There was the access to trade routes to India, which would bring it in. There were not as many controls over the quality of the jute that you had with other things like linen and so on as well. It turned out that the whale oil was very good at softening the jute as well, and being a whaling port, there was lots of whale oil around in the city as well. So I've got my raw jute here again, and a few moments ago you said it felt a bit like hair. Well, if you got up in the morning and your hair was all tangled up like that, what would you do with it? Brush it or comb it. And to do that, we don't do it with a small comb. The machine here, this is called a carding machine, and inside here there are giant rollers, and these rollers are covered with little pins, and I have a section out of one of the rollers from a carding machine here. So the rollers in the carding machine spin round, and the jute gets pulled through these, so it's effectively like combing it, so it's just the same as you would do with your hair, except you wouldn't want to comb your hair. Something as sharp as that. But the jute, when it comes out of the carding machines, looks like this. So that's what it's like. What we're going to do with this now is turn it into thread or yarn for weaving. Anyone know
So
what
what that feels like, that?
this is stuff out of here, yep. So, any idea what you would do to it to turn it into thread?
That feels like
Thin it.
That feels like now.
Sorry?
Thin it.
Thin it? No, if you pull bits off, it's all very short.
Is it like,
Something else you've got to
put
do.
it together, like, I forgot what it's called. Put it in the machine.
Make it look like dried.
Yep.
My God.
It's called spinning. Okay, so what you do is twist it together. And even though they're a bit older than my usual audience when I do this, I'll ask for a volunteer anyway. You want to do it? Yeah. Right, I want you to grab the end of that and see if you can pull it apart. Right, okay, was that easy? Yeah. Yep, okay, so that's at the moment, it's all combed in the same way. When we spin it in the machine, what we're doing is twisting it round, like that. Okay, so the machine would do this rather than me. Even doing it by hand, if I wrap that round a few times. What I want you to do is, can you grab that again? Yep, just about where it's spun like that. And pull it and see if you can break it this time. Keep pulling. Okay, so by wrapping the fibres around each other, we've made something much stronger. And on the machine, we do that very fast and pull it very tight, so we end up with something that's really, really thin and is great for weaving with. Okay.
How would you compare the times back when you used to work in the mills and what there is now in Dundee?
Oh, entirely different whatsoever. Young ones really put up with what we had from first go. I mean, we had nothing. There was 6 in one room, you know, and your outside toilet and your black sink and your brass tap, you know. It was really hard work. But it was a place for everything and everything in its place. And everybody was called Mr. and Mrs. And Dancy, Mary and Jeannie had to be Mr. this and Mr. that. It was just the way we brought up.
From the records here at Verdant Works, we know that there was a young girl working on a carding machine, or the ones on the other side of the rollers and so on, and she had long hair like yours, and she was, maybe because she was tired or not paying attention, but her long hair got caught in the machine and she was actually pulled into the machine by her hair, and by the time they actually managed to switch it off, she was completely mangled, was killed.
What, did you get pushed for that?
Yeah, well, I don't know, it's probably her head would get sort of crushed in the machine.
Which one was it? Those ones?
It was the big ones where with all the pins on them that went round.
So how noisy was it?
Oh, colossal. Everybody my age, they're all deaf. Have to be. Talk with your hands.
How did you communicate with your hands?
What's the time? 5 past 2. 5 to 3. That was 4 o'clock. Half past or half 2. You told me.
That's cool.
If a man in a brown coat came in, you did that. That was the foreman. If Brian came in, the top man, you go, hoi! Top man.
How long were you working for?
I worked for about 20 years in the mills.
What time did you start? What time did you finish?
Well, day shift, 7:30 to 5:30, 5 days a week. Only an hour for lunch. The first wage was 5 shillings, which was 5 pence a day. But it was only 15.
These go onto the beaming machine across here, and that's for the threads that go up and down on the loom, so the up and down threads. For the threads that are going to go in and out across the way, we make a roll of jute in here. This is called a cop, and it fits into this thing called a shuttle. And we'll see the loom further along, but it flies from side to side across the loom, and the thread goes in and out the other threads. It pulls the threads one way and then the opposite way, and this shoots back and forward in between.
Like a large game of ping pong.
So that's it. This is what all these factories were all about, producing mile upon mile upon mile of this jute material that was then used for lots and lots of different things. Obviously bags and sacks was a main use, but then they had undersides of carpets and chairs. During the wartime they were used for sandbags and tents and gun covers, even parachutes, believe it or not, and temporary landing strips for aircraft. If you were out somewhere and you wanted your plane to land on muddy ground or whatever, you could actually have huge rolls of the jute that used to roll out and you could land on top of that. So.
No, I think it's hard. And I've got young grandchildren. My grandson's 10.
And there's not really much for him to do. They're sitting in the house on his Xbox. That's what my grandson does. His Xbox.
You'll have arthritis in the thumbs before he knows it.
I've got arthritis in them now and I didn't have an Xbox. That was the weaving.
No, I don't think it's easy. Till a certain degree, lots of things are easy, but not easy to get a job, and that's about the only thing. Their life's easy, they get money too easy, and that's my opinion, really.
Teenager? Yeah. It's all right. My family's full of them. This is my great niece. Yes, I got 36 when you counted them all together.
No, life's not easy for them because it's very difficult for them to get jobs, and not all parents can hand over money the way that some of them would like. I mean, it's very difficult if you've got a friend that's working and having a wage, and you've got a couple of pound that your dad slipped you or your mum slipped you to go out on. It can't be easy for them.
Oh, very difficult for them. I mean, they're leaving school, they've no place to go. Just hanging about the streets, are they? No, like when we were young, that's many moons ago. Well, you love that, Gary.
What about like what Dundee was known for, like jute and jam and that?
4 J's. Jute, jam, journalism and junkies. Junkies!
Do you think there's a lot of junkies in Dundee?
Definitely.
Do you think Dundee's a good place to live?
No.
Why should we drink my food
You walk down the street and get stabbed by a needle.
I would listen to cry. Because like, it's just like a food there, slide right down.
Is that true, do you think?
What? Jute, jam, journalism and junkies? There's more junkies in Dundee than there is anywhere else in Scotland.
Is that true?
Yeah.
I don't see how tourists come here because it's a shite hole.
Okay, anything else you want to tell us about Dundee, employment, old people?
Full of jakies.
Dundee's full of jakies.
And my son, now I'll tell you, my son died of drug addiction when he was 19, and that's 40 years ago. So I do know about drug addiction, but there was nothing we could do, and someone told him that if he took paracetamol, it would give him an extra kick. So he took 70, and it took him 3 days to die. So I am very well aware of a drugs problem, but it's something that you can't do very much about, because the first time you take drugs, they must give you a terrific kick. You know, kind of a lift. You think, oh, this is great. My son actually thought one time he could fly, but he didn't fly very far. But it's a long time ago now, you know, and but if you can talk to young people and say, you know, it gets so bad, you're not doing yourself a little bit of good, but who are they going to believe, an old woman or somebody who's trying to sell them a fix? Are they going to listen to me? Oh no, you know, because it's never going to happen to them.
I shot my woman, I shut her down. I had enough of her messing around, and now she's gone, she ain't coming back. I cut off her head and put it in a sack. Come on. I got a new woman with the finest breast. Oh, nothing says she's got the best. And when she's gone, just for a while, I notice I cannot smile.
Are you having fun?
No, it's too cool. Because it's cool out. I want to go because it's cool out. And turn that camera!
You're having fun!
Grand.
How long do you think it'll take, like, to
for the whole thing to be done?
It's a great question. It says officially about 2031, but actually, most of the roads and all the things that we've got to put in place will be done in 3 years' time.
Yeah.
So all the what we would call the infrastructure, it's basically the roads and all the things that go with it, they'll be in place in about 3 years' time. We tend to forget it because we live here, but it's a fantastic setting. You know, if you get to the edge of the river and look out over the river and over the Fife, it's absolutely beautiful. And we tend to forget that. Those of us who live here forget how smart, how a fantastic environment it is.
Lisa and Beth, you had some views when we discussed it at 9 o'clock about what you thought about the waterfront in the future. You sort of tell Alan maybe what you initially thought this morning.
There was no point in it because
it was pointless.
I said it looked like when you come off a plane when you're abroad, and it would look like that. But then you see now it was a.
So what do you think of it now?
Cool. Awesome.
Cool and awesome. How do you feel about that?
I feel that feels good because that's what we want people to feel once you've seen the presentation, and most people do actually. Most people are quite excited about it, and I'm excited about it as well.
So we need more jobs?
Definitely, yeah. We predict there'll be about 7,000, at least 7,000 new jobs. And there'll be a mixture of jobs. Some will be in manufacturing, offshore renewable wind turbines. Some will be in computer games. Some will be in hospitality, so that would be in hotels or cafes or bars. So we see a whole range of jobs, office jobs as well in the central waterfront. So we see a whole range of jobs.
What do you think of like us teenagers getting jobs in the future?
I think it's for you. I think the project is for you. If you look at the date when things will be ready to go, this is yours. This is your project. I'll probably be retired, but that's the big thing about this. It's giving jobs to youngsters, and it's giving you hope as well, which is a really important thing just now. And because all this is going to happen, people are sort of saying, this is great, this is cool. I want to spend my money. So you're getting big companies coming in to say to you now, saying, I want to do this. And there's a lot of international interest in this as well as local interest. So that's always when you know you've got it right. And actually in the UK this year we're the third best regeneration project in the whole of the UK. So the most amount of money to go into a project like this anywhere in the UK, we're sitting number 3, which is quite something.
And how long do you think it'll be before it's ruined? Like before people start hanging about there all the time and that?
Right. I think one of the reasons that we're keen to have a lot of events there is that there's a lot of people there. If you keep trying to build things in place to encourage people to be there and to have what the planners call active space, you've got less chance of it being vandalised because people actually self-police. You know, if there's a lot of people around, you're less likely to get people smashing things up because they'll be spotted and reported. Hopefully people become quite proud of it. So actually, if you see somebody sort of vandalising something, you know, it's, what are you doing? Stop it, this is mine. And this is ours, what are you doing?
What do you think was the most exciting part of the plan that you saw?
V&A.
V&A. What impressed you about that?
The way it looks.
Yeah.
Was that can you describe what the way it looks?
Yeah, it's like almost like 2 upturned pyramids. So it's going to be a real challenge to construct, but an absolutely fantastic building. It's going to go where the Olympia is at the moment. That's going to get built there.
Was it going to be like that?
Yeah.
When we shaped it that?
Yeah.
I thought that was a ship.
That's the idea. And there's really something else. But the guy from Japan who designed it was sitting at the cliffs at Arbroath, and he said, "This is amazing." And he saw that's how the cliffs were starting to look with the orange stonework. And he thought that's quite an interesting design. So he's based that on the cliffs at Arbroath.
They're actually really kind and stuff. Like, you never actually thought old people would be so kind. Like, you used to think they'd be all crabby and moany because they would think we're like immature and just carry on a lot, but we actually don't. We actually try hard to get jobs and work and stuff.
Nearly at the end of the project, what do you think of old people now?
They sound still smelly.
No, they're not. No,
Nah, they're sound.
Be serious.
Nah, they're sound and their homes smell kind of piney and nice. And
What does piney
they
mean?
look okay as well.
What does piney mean?
Look at what piney means. Like pine cone.
Well, people are cool. Yeah. People have to stop being nasty to them. Start helping them out and like helping them across the road with their shop or helping them.
I've been doing that like since I started this project, change my views on old people. I've been helping them in the shops and everything.
They've got loads of stories, so it's quite cool.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay, anything else?
Like, I used to think that they were all like crabby and that, but some of them are actually quite sound.